The leading cause of death in the United States is heart attack for both men and women. According to the CDC, somebody has a heart attack every 40 seconds. That means somebody has the blood flow to their heart stops completely and they immediately get chest pain. 40 seconds. Every 40 seconds. Now, I'm not just picking on the USA. This is a global epidemic that stretches worldwide, okay? And it's even worse in India. The death rate in that country is even higher. Now, compared to the US, places like Australia, New Zealand, it's much lower. And you got to ask yourself, why? The reason? Trans fat. In India and in the US consumes a lot of trans fats. In India, they consume even more. In places like Australia, they consume a much less amount. And this is all correlated. So what's the answer? How do we combat cardiovascular disease? This worldwide epidemic, okay? What conventional wisdom will say, and what most people do, they run out and they buy fat burners. They buy all kinds of things to try to lose weight. They count their calories meticulously with apps and all kinds of technology, starving themselves of nutrients. Or they bury their head in the sand. Or, better yet, let me rephrase that, they bury their head in artificial sweeteners and preservatives. And then as a result, what happens? They go to the gym. They try to go hard because they're taking all kinds of stimulants and counting their calories. They get injured. It's a sad reality. And then this cycle perpetuates. It just gets worse and worse. So, what are we to do now? Now, the answer is just holistic living. Just eat real food. And a lot of people just shrug that advice off like it's nothing. But I'm not talking to a lot of people. I'm only talking to a certain amount of people in this video. Okay? And if you're one of those people that want to take control of your life and actually take your life back, then those are the people who I'm talking to. Now you got to ask yourself, when you're at the end of your life, on your deathbed, and you're sitting there, what are you going to say? When somebody asks, did you live your life to the fullest? Did you do everything you wanted to do? Are you going to be able to say you did? You did your best? Or no? You know, in the nursing home, the number one thing that people have as a regret is that they wished that they did more. A lot of people wanted to hike the mountains in Hawaii or the Himalayan mountains or surf in Mexico or, travel more, do more, and they didn't. And the reason is, they just didn't have the energy to do these things. How often do you ask yourself questions like this? Now think about this. The Pueblo Indians, originally from Southern California, they were probably the original landowners of this region before it was stolen. But they used to live well over 130 years old. They grew their own vegetables and fruits. They harvested their own foods. They were constantly moving all day. It's not like in our day and age right now. Everybody is sedentary. We commute in cars and drive up to drive-through windows to get greasy, oily foods that clog up our arteries. We don't even have to get out of the car to eat. Or we're sedentary, sitting in front of the television all day long, or just laying around all day. No matter what, we don't move around enough compared to our ancestors and the way they moved for millions of years. And now, today, in this modern era, we don't move. That's the number one problem. The next thing is the diet. And so a lot of people don't want to do the diet. They don't want to eat healthy. They figure they only live once. They're going to do what they want to do. But I'm not talking to those people. So right now, I'm talking to the type of people that want to squeeze the most out of life. I'm talking to the roses that grow between the cracks in the concrete, the ones who defy the odds around them. Let me ask you something else. What do you do when your friends, your family, and your peers decide to make the wrong decision? They start to eat junk or drink too much alcohol or drugs or whatever kind of negative decision they want to make. What do? Do you follow suit? And if you do, is that okay with you? Again, this video is not for the people that it's okay with. But if it bothers you, then I'm talking to you. Because you need to use that anger as fuel to make things happen. So what do we have? We have a responsibility. We have a choice. You got to ask yourself another question. Are my peers influencing me? Or am I influencing my peers for the better? Who's influencing who? Let's get to the bottom of that. Because we all have that choice. And you have to choose. Choose life or choose death. Let me tell you the good thing about choosing life. When you choose life, let me put that in quotes. When you choose life, you feel good. You feel much better. Because the feeling is so much better than any sugar high or plate of French fries. You actually feel invigorated, alive. You're able to inspire and help other people. Right now, you might be gaining weight, you might have a low energy level, or just noticing a lot of aches and pains in your body, or you might have serious health issues right now, or you may even have had a death scare. But just know, there is a solution, and the solution is not that difficult. It just takes a little bit of discipline. Just a small amount of discipline every day, incrementally, will add up to what you want to get, which is the success of health and being invigorated, feeling alive, and choosing life. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to get better, a little bit better every day. There's a compound effect to it. Read the book by Darren Hardy. It's called The Compound Effect. It's a really good book. It'll describe how little choices every day, little good choices, will add up. And it's all about basic mathematics. You take away room for the negative and you make more room for the positive. That's really adding and subtracting on the real. That's a quote from Left Eye. But what do we do here? I wrote down a few things. We get accountability partners, right? The more the merrier. The next thing we do is we be the influence. We assume the position of power to help other people. And that's what we use it for. We get excited. Number 3 is we get excited. I'd rather be annoying for bullying people into health than to just not be remembered at all. So think of it that way. The next thing, be the change you want to see. A lot of people want to criticize and other people is doing this. They're just putting the blame on everybody else, and they're not taking any action as far as making a change. So be the change you want to see. The next thing is be relentlessly consistent. Never take your foot off the gas and always push forward and keep progressing.